Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. Today's the 2nd of October, and I'm getting a lot of questions about today's activity, particularly regarding the SPY and the QQQ. Let me get this loaded. Probably need to restart my system. It's been running for about 6 days now. But what we're looking at here is really the crush pattern played out yesterday. Okay. And so tomorrow we're looking at a pretty solid rolling downward here of this crush pattern yesterday. It was a pretty big move yesterday. I'm sure you guys are well aware how big it was on the ES and the NQ. This big gapping down on the Israeli news. I think the Israel response to what happened last night with Iran and everything has been phenomenal. I mean, they didn't need to escalate it. They needed to think about it. They need to figure it out. So I'm thinking that this is a very good means for the market to essentially settle into rational thinking versus continuing to react to general panic mode. Now we had a crush pattern today with my SPY cycle patterns. They didn't really show up. There's the crush pattern on the second in trending mode. Tomorrow's a reversal rally. So what we're looking at here is, let's zoom this out a little bit. Come back over here. The crush pattern never materialized, really. And I think, as I mentioned to everyone earlier, that we had this rolling downward let's just call it a fairly large scale roll downward yesterday. And again, it was, quite excessive. When you come down here and you take a look at where we were up here on the close uh, of Monday to down here, it's 1.38, down roughly 8 points on the SPY. And then we got a little lower today. So that's almost 1.53 percent. So now this roll, this big move was the crush, basically all the way into this low. It came right down to my support. I did a quick video this morning, and as I was doing the video, price rolled into this area. And now we're moving into what is called the temporary bottom pattern. Now, if we come back up here, this is 5 minute. I go to 30 minutes so you guys can actually see what's going on. So now we're moving into the temporary bottom. And remember, this was my original expectations up here for where price would be going. Remember, I drew this weeks ago. You can see the bars all the way going back here to September 23rd. And I expected we would be rolling into this area, into the consolidation, into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're just into Wednesday right now. But of course, prices rolled downward. So now we're moving into this reversal rally pattern right here. The reversal rally pattern for the third in trend mode is likely going to put us in, and I'm just going to copy this so you guys can see. It's likely going to put us into possible gapping up into this buy mode back up here. Now, the reversal rally could easily take out these lows or these highs. Now you can see we have real strong rejection in this area. And then I would say, and I'm looking, we have moderate rejection a little higher here. So I would probably say right around this area. And again, that would give us the opportunity here, because these were my original buy here levels. And I just drew this down here to show you how it actually aligned very well, the lows today with, well, not the secondary lows back over here, with this rolling pattern. So now, if we get the roll up and get a moderate gap, hypothetically, this type of a move, then I would suspect tomorrow's activity is going to stay below 573.85 to roughly 572.30. in this area, which would still be a nice recovery rally back up into these highs if we did get up above this upper area right here, this 573, call it 90. Then what's going to happen is we're going to be moving up into new all-time highs, new expansion highs. And we would have to then come back over here. And like I said, we would have to try to take a look at expansion ranges. And really, we would have to come off of these lows back over here. And then I'd probably go right up to these rejection ranges and come right down to our lows here, our rejection lows right here, which are going to be right off of this level. And so now understand that we have an upward target of 586, 591, and 599, which fall right into my upper targets. And then what we will do is we will roll to this secondary target low here. And that puts us into the 573, 575, 578 area. 573, 575, 578. Darn close to my areas here. And then we have an upper target over here in 578, roughly here. So those would be areas I would expect price to attempt to rally up into. And again, that gives us a pretty solid range going higher. Remember, whatever we get tomorrow on the reversal rally is going to then be followed by the up, down, up in counter trend mode, which will be a down, up, down day. So the news that came out disrupting our Harami pattern carried our crush into an early low today, will likely move into downward trending on Friday with the crush pattern. You do have a pretty good opportunity to see the SPY move above 573, roughly 80, call it 574. Tomorrow, you got a pretty good chance to see a rally up above 574 tomorrow from 568. That's a 6.5 point move, about a full percentage point, a little over. And then we're going to roll into that downtrend, I believe, on Friday. So decent to hold these levels here. And let's go to the QQQs. And we're looking at the same type of setup. So you've got this pattern here that I suggested. We'll readjust it with a slight gap to the upside in this area. And I'm assuming we're going to get a gap if this holds. We're already post market up quite a bit. Looks like it on earnings up 92. So again, we could get a good solid gap. We could get rallies up into this area. I'll draw again. So we have resistance right here, just below that red line, or that red line. And then we have rejection roughly in this area. And we have rejection obviously a little higher. Now, I'm not looking for these highs, folks. I'm looking for consolidation periods, little blocks of dojis. So I would call it right here. So here we have our targeting area going upward. And I would suggest a good solid move tomorrow would be 487, 480. Yeah, 487, 487.50. And if we get a big rally, maybe up into this 489.50 area, I think this level here to 485.04 or 485.10 roughly is going to be a pretty easy level to breach going higher. But ultimately, getting back up to this level is 480, 487 area is going to be probably a pretty clean objective on a reversal rally tomorrow, leading to a bit of a sideways down day and then leading to a following rally higher up into Monday. So very interesting how the crush pattern actually played out yesterday. and moderately today. You can see on the NQ, we didn't come down and breach any new lows. We held above these levels, which is great. We are moving into this basing end of week pattern. So remember, we're getting these rolls. And like I tried to show you back over here, the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do is help you guys learn to become better traders and hopefully see what I see. Okay. Now, granted, I'm not perfect. I sometimes make mistakes, and, people are very easily, they like to point out my mistakes. But I urge you guys to find anybody who can do what I do. I mean, really, it's going to be hard pressed. So this is the lines that I drew related to what's going to happen. These are the buy zones. I'm not trying to clutter all this up, but understand that we're going to be moving into this zone. We're probably going to be moving into some sort of a buy zone like this, where the actual price trend rolls forward in this manner within this zone, following along with my original expectations here, just shifted downward about, and if I were to give you an actual number, it would have been shifted downward by about 1%. So, you can look at this number and say, where would we be, Brad? We'd be about 1% lower. So right in this area, 575 roughly is an end. Where would we gap up on Monday? About 1% below this area, maybe a little less. That would put us right down here, about 577.5. And essentially, the markets have shifted phase. You can see how we operated in this area, and now we've shifted down. We still got the roll. We still got the consolidation bar here was disrupted by the Israeli Lebanon conflict. Then we had the crush pattern that really just kind of reconfirmed this low, rolled into basing, bottoming. We got our low here perfectly, our secondary low, and now we're rolling into this reversal rally pattern here. So I think you can obviously carry this for another 24 hours if you want to on options or futures and try to catch this move here. The real exit point is going to be either late tomorrow on this peaking area up here, or the following morning with a potential gap a little higher. Okay, so now let's come over to gold. Gold set up a beautiful Harami line. We have this gold pattern here. We were in a Harami inside pattern. It's beautiful. Tomorrow's temporary bottom is going to likely move into, and I've got it back over here, is going to move into a mode where gold attempts to roll downward, as I've shown right here, and roll into a temporary bottom pattern, which will attempt to move higher. So now, don't quite know what this was. Get rid of it until I take a look at further out. So really, you're looking at this area here where I mentioned to you earlier, you could hold from this level if you had the guts to hold overnight. Otherwise, you're going to get this temporary bottom, which is probably going to be more, and I hate to say this, but could be anywhere really in this range here as a secondary bottom in the morning tomorrow in gold. So you're going to get an opening price. It's going to come down more than likely. It's going to find some sort of a base or a bottom in this early morning area. And then it's going to roll back up and out up until we reach the topping pattern, which again is on Friday. So now look over here. We've got a temporary bottom pattern on the 3rd, and then a top resistance pattern on the 4th. And the way that works, folks, is a temporary bottom pattern must move down, try to find support, and then roll up. Okay, a top resistance pattern must move up, find resistance, and then roll down. That's kind of what we have setting up in this mode. Okay, we have this type of a pattern setting up over the next 2 days. Now we're going to open up tomorrow. We're going to move lower, find support, roll upward. maybe not this high, but it's going to roll upward, then it's going to carry upward into Friday, setting up a top, finding resistance, and then rolling back downward. So buying and holding from this area or this area is pretty solid. You want to catch this move, and you don't want to be overly greedy when gold gets like this. So, I would urge you, and there's another line right here I'm going to try to get rid of. I would urge you to, all these lines showing up. All right, no big deal. I would urge you to look again at trying to consider exiting gold up here on the way up. So maybe leg out of your positions here, maybe leg out of about a third or so, or maybe a little more of your positions here. The reason being is, you can always reload the following day if we get some sort of reaction in the morning. So if you catch a buy here or down here, and you rode it up to the end of trading here, there's no reason to be greedy. Literally pull 40, 50, 60% off, and then look to potentially catch maybe a little runner here into the end of the day. You don't want to be greedy and let this rally up to the point where it rolls against you and thinking it's going to go further. Just, this is a good move. And really, this upper area for gold, anything above 2707 right about here, that to me would be a gift. So anything over here, 2700, 2703, that's kind of your target area. So right over here, guys, this is kind of your target area right here. To me, that's a very solid exit point for holding your gold trade. And again, we're going to watch how these play out, just like we've been doing here. I mean, ideally, other than the Israeli conflict disrupting things yesterday, we've been doing pretty good. We literally have been moving forward. There we go. Moving forward through these, look at this here. Buy here, I suggested. Rolling upward, I suggested sell here. I suggested go flat in this area at the day today perfectly. Look how it lined up. And then I'm suggesting a buy here tomorrow. We'll see how it plays out. And then I'm looking for pull profits here, pull profits here. This is this is really like a gift. This is where you should consider just getting out and looking at the rest as no big deal. If we get up here in this 2708, 2709 area, you can sell into this mode here back to 2695, maybe 2690. Then we're going to be looking at a move up here to 2625, we'll call it 2620 to 2625, and that's going to be our next big move in gold. Okay, well, like I said, guys, things are playing out very well. I'm going to go back to the SPY chart. So gold right now is at 2680. It's holding up. The SPY is at 569.71, up quite a bit. Bitcoin, lastly, real quickly, down again. Come back in here, come back in here. Spread this all out. Yep. I mean, got a new lower low. And again, watch this just rolling right into these channels. See this one and this one. These are Bitcoin's probably just going to roll right into this low, building base and trying to move out of it. So everything's moving literally exactly like I predicted. And now we wait and see, because now I'm either going to live or die by these rolling predictions. So remember, we have these rolling predictions showing you what's likely to happen here. And I'm either going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. So you can see how far I predicted all the way out. And you can see I've gone all the way out to the 15th, I think, 16th. And here we go, all the way out to this buy zone here on the 14th. So we're looking at, sell at the peak here at the end of the day or early morning, carrying into a go flat zone at the end of the day or down near this area. which was fine. Going flat over here in this area, you caught a nice move. Then we're looking for sell early in the morning on this day. We had our move downward. We had our lows, buying over in this area, rolling up into an upward trend. We'll see if this plays out, this big upward trend, and if we get some sort of a sell trigger back over here. If price does exactly what I'm saying, or even 70, 80% close to this, given the news and the conflicts and what have you, I would be flat out impressed. I mean, ask yourself, do you know anybody else that can do this with any degree of accuracy? Because I sure don't. I see a lot of people out there just going off of technical indicators and trying to tell you what's going on. And remember, I use technical indicators, but I'm going off of price patterns and what I expect to see happen based on this right here. No technical indicators. This is Fibonacci, Gann, and what I call Tesla amplitude theory. So this is nothing more than price patterns, not really technical analysis. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to let you guys go. Got to go back to this chart to turn it off, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.